All right, it looks like I'm live. And I can't tell if anybody's watching. But I put a link to the stream in the description. Hi, OG. Make sure that I have all of my volumes turned down. Yep. Here's some notification in the background. So let's get rid of that. And I'm back. All right, Bob.
Sweet cheese.
How you doing, Bob?
And I got it.
I'm hang on a
sorry,
second.
and I got it a couple of weeks ago.
I got to mute something here.
Let me mute you for 1 sec. Bob is still playing some Discord. I want to do another live stream tonight. Because of I guess everything that I've been hearing today about this fake kernel and some of the updates on the fake kernel and what else going on with that. I've been a little disappointed in how I guess people have sort of reacted to the news that, she's fake, and it wasn't really a miracle, because now these people that have been covering for her and her lies, now they are saying that she is dead. I guess they're going to believe that this person is now dead, so that we'll just go away or whatever, that nobody will be able to get their money back. I don't know what they want to do, why they're trying to protect her. But again, they are trying to withhold information that they have and double down on, crazy.
Well, I guess they don't understand that the name she was probably using is from a dead U.S. soldier. And that's how he's dead.
Has anybody showed any evidence whatsoever that this person's dead?
I mean, absolutely no evidence that this person is dead. It was, this morning it was, oh, I promise, as soon as my wife gets home, I'm going to send out all the information that I have, so that if people want to make a complaint or whatever they need to do to get their money back, they can do that. And now this evening it's changed. It's, oh, we're going to wait for 3 days because all of a sudden she's apparently supposedly dead now, believe it or not.
Well, he said he had family connections to her.
Yeah, we're going to wait 3 days now out of respect for her family. I guess that would be Sean Purdy that's in the background covering up the camera whenever she when she has the miracle walks.
Yeah, well, isn't it ironic that that's exactly, it was exactly, a day and a half after the miracle walk, and now she dropped dead?
Yeah, that song Ironic by, gosh, now I'm not going to be able to think of her name. But yes, Alanis Morissette, Ironic comes to mind when I hear that.
Well, I heard him say on there that he's got family connections to her.
Yeah, apparently they're all tied up together, which is what really bothers me.
He said that he was family. I mean, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, his family. And that's just crazy. I'm glad you're here, Felipe. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but I'm always happy to have you here to talk about stuff. And there's one subject in particular that I am always interested in talking about. But I'll leave that to you if you have anything to say about that or update any of us on any of that.
Well, there's nothing new except that he's now taking his campaign to Twitter. And he's still alleging that the channels are his kids, and I'm going after his kids. But yet, I've never seen any of his kids on his channel. And it is what it is. But we don't know the situation. It's just where did the lie start and the lie stop? They don't. It's just one continual lie. And so it's just waiting for March. And when March comes and he's joined back into the Texas Department of Corrections, and the real wolworld will be free of him.
Yeah, that is likely what is going to happen, and I look forward to that day. So bring Wolfman on. But I've gotten a lot of flack today, and a lot of flack over the fact that I put out the correct information about these people. That that there are people behind the scenes that do look into these people,
Yep.
and they do verify what these crazy Nazi hunting claims that they make are. And I mean, you know, you hear these kind of wacko claims and stuff, and they don't have anything to back it up, and people just buy into it. And then I've been hearing all day long that I didn't deliver the information well enough about this Purdy lady. I guess I didn't deliver the information that Earl was a rapist well enough for anyone else either. So, you know, if you don't put it in a right way or whatever, that, you know, they just want to discredit you and call you bitter and scorned and say you murdered your children or whatever, you know, whatever.
What I heard this evening was I was using language they didn't understand. I was speaking the language of the law or some other silly shit. I was like, I've already tried the dumbing it down for you dumbasses so you understand what's going on, but they're of their own belief system of this is the way it is, and no matter what I do, I'm gonna be in the wrong. Okay,
Your aura wasn't right, Philippe.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, your aura just wasn't right.
I guess I didn't drink enough natural light today or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how diplomatic anyone expects anyone to be. I don't particularly think that I have any reason to be diplomatic with anyone in regards to people frauding people out of money, because no one's been very nice to me whenever I try to tell them the truth. I don't hold my tongue, just like they don't hold their tongue.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why we really started looking into this is because of individuals starting having these contacts with law enforcement. They started screaming, oh, I'm being targeted. Oh, I'm being targeted. But you don't know what they're doing off camera. You don't know what they've done prior to picking up the camera. Maybe they are a problem. Maybe these law enforcement officers knew of this person before they wanted to become a fake activist or whatever they want to be. And so that's one of the reasons why we look into what is behind this. Because we've had these experiences in the past. I had those conversations with mainstream media regarding Philip Turner and Earl Warden. It's in a Chronicle, and I'm on the phone and I'm talking to the reporter from the Chronicle. She says, "Felipe, you know this guy's history, right?" And no, I didn't. I didn't know it to the detail I know now. But at the time, I was like, "Yeah, it's some other stuff." She goes, "No, it's nothing like that." And eventually, we did find out exactly what the deal is. You know, according to what the record shows.
That's right. And these lies that they tell become apparently obvious whenever you watch and you see and you have a clue about anything in the world. You know, I mean, geez, some of this stuff is just insane that they say. Insane. Hunting Nazis. I mean, really, this crazy colonel person claims she trained 60,000 dogs and retired as a colonel after 18 years. Insane that people would even buy into that.
They want to hear stories. They want to hear They want to hear stuff. That's what they want to hear. Hey, I'm a jet, guys. I'll talk to you guys later on. I'll touch you later, Teresa.
Thanks so much for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah, Teresa. I guess putting it plain out there that Earl's a rapist is just too much for people to handle. You know, they don't understand those words.
You know, and how much plainer do you have to be about someone that's frauding people by pretending to be crippled, pretending to be, you know, paralyzed. At one point, she's neck down. I guess she had to back that one up a little bit after she started moving around on camera. But I mean, you know, tell people that she's paralyzed and then get up and walk around, and then none of them ever question it. It's crazy.
Did you see her back scratcher?
I didn't see the back scratcher.
It was a fucking log about a fucking inch and a half in diameter. The thing must have weighed about 10 pounds. And she just lifts that right up over the top of her head. You know, it's just a branch that's got 3 fucking branches coming off of it that have been cut off. It's like, holy shit. This is how she said she had no fucking discs in her back. She wouldn't have been able to do that if she had no discs in her back. For fuck's sakes.
They're all in on this shit. Go ahead, Bob.
Was her initial story that she was a quadriplegic, and then it was a paraplegic, couldn't from the waist down, and then all of a sudden she's walking. But isn't that how it started?
Yes, that was how it started. First, she was she was paralyzed from the neck down, and then she was paralyzed from the waist down. And then I heard her say, "Point, I'm paralyzed from the waist down, but I can still feel my feet." I thought to myself, how are these people buying this crap? How are they buying this? Are they listening to this, or what are they? What the hell? What are they just watching?
Not a matter of buying it or not buying it. They're all in on it. Let's look at that one gal, Becky O. who was in the live stream when she got up and walked, pretending like nothing happened, didn't see a thing, who came into a live stream last night. I believe it was the Jeff guy's live stream, maybe, and he told her about it, and she was shocked. Oh my God, she really got up and walked. Well, you were watching it this morning when it happened, and you're acting like you had no clue. You're in on it. SNS, in
That's
on
right.
it. These
That's right.
people are all in on it.
That's absolutely right.
And I'll
it's all
tell you
about money.
what, if they want to be in on it, then they're going to get called out on it just like the rest. SNS, we know. I'm working on knowing if these animal abuse charges are in fact correct. I get the documents, and those will go on the internet. Anybody else? This Mario-looking mushroom jumper on the panel right now just showed his military ID with his full name. He needs to be investigated. Every one of them needs to be checked out. They're all in on the scam. They've all done it before. It ain't nothing new to them fuckers.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry.
This is nothing
Sorry,
new.
I'm cussing.
I looked at this Becky O's YouTube channel, and she's just as big of an e-beggar. She was homeless just a matter of weeks ago before she came across Jeff and this SNS person, and they started begging money for this con person, this con woman. They don't know who the hell this person is. No idea in the world. Just some random homeless person off the street, and they're raising money and putting her up, and she's sitting on a panel watching somebody have a miracle walk and covering up that information and lying about it.
Eastern Kentucky, any information anybody can send me, I'll get up on Fan Club. Anything that you can get me on any of the cast of characters, Texas Wolfman at fanclub.com. Email it to me and I'll get it up there.
I'll tell you something else. I'll tell everybody that's watching something else is that if you don't want any attention from me or to come out, up on my radar, don't ask people for money. Don't con people out of money based on lies. Because you're gonna come on my radar and I'm gonna find out what the fuck you're doing.
Damn it! I was just gonna do that too.
There are a lot of people that watch these videos that are on fixed incomes that can't afford to be donating, that, truly feel like they are helping. They truly feel like they are helping, and they watch these streams like with SNS and Jeff, and they think that they're helping, and they are just being conned out of money that they could use for other things. And I hate that. I hate that because I know a lot of poor people. I just hate that people are trying to scam them out of their hard-earned money.
And then we get Patrick, who's been doing it since he figured out that he could actually get paid on YouTube.
Yeah, and Patrick's information is out there. People know who he is and what he is. And I can't stop people from giving him money. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this much, his donations have sure dried up a whole lot. So you keep that in mind, viewers. You want to ask for money, you better be on the up and up about it, because I'm going to find out if you're not.
I agree. It's a shame to see that happen. I know it wasn't P.T. Barnum that said it, but there's a sucker born every minute, and I don't remember who that's really a quote of, but it's sad to see that kind of thing. People taking advantage of others, and I know people are really behind this movement, and they really want to do some good, and all the money they shell out is,
going to these frauds.
Yep.
Oh, without a doubt. There's a limited amount of money to go around, and there are some people that really need. There are some cases that could really use some funding, but instead they're asking the community to donate to people like Becky O, who's just homeless. So maybe she can't work because she's got to take care of a dog. I swear to God, I watched her say that in a freaking video today. She can't work because she takes care of a dog. I cannot believe that people give these people money. And you know what? If you know it, that's you. You want to give people money because they don't want to work because they have a dog? That's fine. But at least know what you're doing. At least know information about these people that you're giving it to. For Christ's sakes.
What kind of surprised me was that 10 grand for Eric in 2 days. That I was surprised by that he got that much money in that amount of time.
That's right. And what that proves is that there are people making a lot of money in donations. And I think, there's no accountability in where all that money goes. And I know that Eric had, a significant amount of bond that he had to cover or bail that he had to cover. So, but that was a cash bond or cash bail, wasn't a bought bond. So that money is going to eventually be returned to someone. And it was donated by a whole lot of people. And, there's not going to be, I can tell you right now, there's going to be zero accountability when that money gets returned to whomever gets it.
Well, yeah, because he's going to be in jail. If he gets, 2 to 5 years is what he's facing from his new guilty charges from court.
He's going to have one hell of a commissary account.
That's right. If it's, who knows who signed for it? Who knows who put it up? Somebody probably went down there and put it up, put their name on that. That's probably where the money's going to go back to. I know that, I've put up bonds for people before. One specific name that comes to mind is Philip Turner when he got himself arrested behind that Shell oil catastrophe that they've got going over there in Houston. And, whenever the charges got dismissed and whatever, they sent him the money back. They didn't send it to me. I didn't see, they didn't send it to me. He eventually sent the money back to me, but they didn't send it directly to me, and I paid it.
Wow.
So
the same thing with the South Side. I paid South Side's the full deal. I mean, it was only 100, and I don't care. I'm not going after South Side in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it went right back to him, not me.
And yeah, quite honestly, I donated the money, and if it didn't come back, hey, that I don't donate money that I expect to get back. But that's how it works, donate money, and if it's a $50,000 bond and you raise all that $50,000, whoever puts that bond up is the one that's getting it back when old boy goes to court.
And of course he burned you bad after that too. I remember the way he talked about you and to you after that.
Oh yeah, Philip Turner is just like Jeff, and just like this other SNS guy. They want to carry the water of con men and frauditors that are just out to get your money. And and that's important. I guess they think that they all need to be a part of a community because somebody has more subscribers and they don't want to risk themselves or their channels or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. Because this isn't about money or clicks and views for me. I really don't care. I made this channel a long time ago so that I could say whatever I wanted to say and nobody could stop me. And I don't care. It's not the subscribers that keep me coming back. It's not money that keeps me coming here. I just, if I have something to say, I wanted my own platform to say it. I can't get kicked off this panel.
I got to give it to PT Ryder. She actually was saying some truth tonight, but she wasn't getting any fucking answers.
Yeah, it was just
hemming and hawing and going completely off subject. And
I was so proud of her. She ripped them up. She said all the things I was trying to say, and fortunately, I don't know. Did she ever get thrown off the panel?
I don't know.
They talked about it. They talked about throwing
her out
off.
there. She's in chat.
Well, it's like I'm ashamed to admit it, but I donated money to Monkey when he got his ass beat up there in the East Coast, so he could move down to Georgia. And I told him, this $100 fucking hurts me. If anything, pay it forward. You know.
Wilma, I believe Caroline Fort Worth's real name is, I believe it's Caroline Rodriguez. Is that correct? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I think it's Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting criminal history. You'll enjoy that.
So
And
you
I
don't
need to get
expect
her
Eric
documents, and I need Caroline's documents. I need to get that shit up on Fan Club. I know we made furry #1 on Google. We need to do the same thing for her.
So we're not expecting people like Eric Brandt to be writing checks anytime soon to pay back all this bond money that flows back to the prisoner.
You know, I mean, there's probably not, if it flows anywhere, there's not going to be any accountability as to where it flows.
As to how long it stays up on the
I'm disappointed because,
PayPal.
you know, I did that fundraising tonight, and I've heard it from so many people how they appreciated the way it was handled when I did that fundraiser, and I had hoped that that would set a bar for other people to follow. And I have not seen a single person attempt any kind of transparency since then. And that to me is a big disappointment.
And you still caught grief over it.
Oh yeah, I get accused of supposedly I have a Lexus in my driveway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And don't you sell marijuana or something, they say?
Only to the school kids.
You should have fucking bought a caddy, damn it.
Right. Well, they say I murdered my daughter and my granddaughter. I don't know if you've heard that one. You know.
Oh
so-
yeah.
yeah.
I've got a Mercedes that I'm paying for. I don't need a little Lexus. Sorry.
No, a caddy.
That sounds bragging. I don't.
You should have bought a caddy. Trade that Mercedes and get one of them caddies. Those fuckers are nice.
But you're right, Wolfman. That is the way you handle that fundraiser is the way that you're supposed to handle fundraisers. I mean, everything was on the up and up. Everything was transparent about it. Everybody knew where the money went. And now I cannot say the same for other people that were also raising thousands of dollars behind the scene. Earl David Warden, who sent the money to who knows where. But whatever, he didn't have any expenses.
And
for him.
staying up for a day and a half.
Well, they don't have to even go to the extremes that I went through. I understand I went a little overboard because we needed the money. We needed it quick. We didn't know how much. I went to an extreme, and I wouldn't expect that from everybody. But some kind of effort of transparency, just some effort. Let me see something. I can't say what parts you should do, what you shouldn't. Give me something, and then we can go from there.
Well, absolutely. You know, and you know, if you want to take for instance, this Jackie, what was her name? That something O girl that was on the panel telling me she was going to beat me up earlier today. Is it something O? Whatever. Her name
Jackie
is.
O.
Yeah, she. Gosh, I thought I lost my train. Never mind.
Well, she's going to beat you up. It's like, well, shit.
Yeah,
she's going to take that
instance,
fucking beating.
They had a fundraiser for her, but who knows how much they raised? Nobody knows. There's no transparency. Nobody knows what, you know, and then you know, and then now she's protecting these people.
Unreal.
It makes me mad. I guess you can tell I'm a little triggered over it.
Well, when they protect people, it opens themselves up to being checked out as well. You know, what are you protecting? It makes you want to dig into them and figure out where is the tie that makes you want to protect such scum. There has to be something there. And then we dig up something on somebody else who all they had to do was be transparent, you know, give what you know. Let's work together. That's what got me about the other people. And it's like an us versus them deal. If they would have approached it differently, instead of, hey, it's the trolls from Discord, it's the us versus them. If they would have approached it differently, saying, look, you have information, obviously. We have information as well. Let's talk about it. Let's communicate. Let's work together. Let's put our information together. We could have that son of a bitch shut down tonight.
Yeah. They are still holding on to information. They are still holding back information about this person that they have. And that's a shame. I don't know if you guys want to change the subject over to this video of Lou's. I don't know if any of you had a chance to watch it.
I watched a minute.
No.
You left a message to invite him in here anytime he would like to dive in. You're going to welcome him, correct, Teresa?
That's right. I titled the stream Lou. I think I titled it Lou. I'm saving the spot for you on the Super Hot panel stream, but I haven't seen him yet.
I don't watch any of his stuff. I have no clue what he does. I know it's stupid, whatever it is.
I watched a whole minute, 47 seconds is all I could handle.
Well, I watched it because my name was in the title, though I didn't really want to. And whatever. I don't know what Lou's problem is, to be honest with you.
Well, the fact that your name was in there is practically irrelevant. He was threatening the entirety of Discord.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Lou permission to just put out whatever he had about me so that, I don't have to be blackmailed like if he was some kind of a rapist,
Well, Lou is somebody, I feel bad for the kid. He wants attention so bad, and he uses his troll game to try to get that attention, but it's not a very good troll game. He's not going to get what he wants unless he really steps it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so.
So yeah, is there anything more to share about Mr. Salty Rant?
No, not really. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned him and that, I let him have a spot here. I've saved him a spot on the panel so that he could come in. And also, I just want to say, I don't make comments and then delete them. I don't run from anyone. I think that's painfully obvious that I get kicked out and banned from things before I'll run away from a goddamn thing. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of interested. I mean, apparently, and I don't know this to be true, but apparently you made a lot of negative statements about him, and statements that you couldn't prove. So, I mean, where's the proof, Teresa? Right?
Yeah, he says something about he claims that I made some comments about Tammy Lin being his. I don't know. I guess like he's pulling his chains or something. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I know Tammy Lin excluded from Earl, was a frauditor, and I'm gonna look into him too. Tammy Lin, be seeing you. But I didn't say anything about Lou.
He's living off of somebody down there wherever he's staying. He's leeching off of them. He doesn't have a job.
Yeah, he's a leech. He's obviously a leech and an e-beggar.
I never hear anybody talk about Lou, though. That's the thing. No. I hear his name every now and then, but it's one quick line and it scrolls past, and he's done and forgotten about it again.
Nobody's really talking about you. Sorry, Lou. I tried to give you this panel so we could talk about you, but oh well. Anyway, on to other things. But yeah, this crazy kernel, that was something else. Sorry I'm weird about it tonight, but boy, it sure does make me mad, that I guess it really aggravates me that we get so much flack. I get a lot of flack. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I get a lot of flack, for putting this information out there. And I get a lot of comments from a lot of lies that have been told, a lot of nasty things said about me.
Well, when the talents come out.
Well, when the criticism comes from people like those, it's a badge of honor.
No, it is. I don't have a problem with the criticism. I don't have a problem with the criticism, but sometimes I do like to address it. For instance, with this whole thing. Well, you don't deliver your message, like you should. You need to be, you need to be diligent or diplomatic in delivering your message, but I ain't had a soul being diplomatic to me, delivering some of the messages from those people that have delivered messages to me. So I don't think I have to be diplomatic.
Well,
I think
it started out that you wanted to be diplomatic. You wanted to have a conversation with Jeff. I mean, it started out that way, and then everybody else is jumping in because you're a Merbite and was walking over you and saying shit, and the talents came out and Teresa let loose, and it was a wonderful thing to watch.
Well, I mean, I had some old girl on there wanting to fist fight with me. Oh, you wouldn't say that to my face. I bet you money you wouldn't say that to my face. I mean, what are you talking about? We're talking about the Colonel. Now you want to beat me up? Come on over, girl.
Yeah.
Pull up on me.
A lot of tough gals out there in the interwebs.
I always say, I'll take an ass beating, but you're not going to shut me up.
That's me. I got my ass beat way too many times in school because that's where I am. I don't care how big you are. Sasquatch, if we were going to go toe-to-toe, we're going to fight. I ain't going to back down. I don't care how big and bad you are.
Fuck that.
I'm going to speak my mind. If you want to fight, we'll fight.
I ain't fighting smaller people. Fuck that shit. I always got my ass kicked by a smaller person.
That's right. We're wiry.
Well,
hey, they move too fast. I can't get a hold of them.
Well, if that's really the solution to having a disagreement, that's pretty sad.
Yeah,
it is.
And what sucks is I can't run fast neither.
Bob is right though. It's sad that's what people want it to come down to. You know, when you can't have a discussion without, I'm going to kick your ass. It's just stupid. It's your own weakness.
And there's something to be said about, okay, sure, you have the guts to sit behind your keyboard and talk about this from far away. Like one time I was criticizing a particular pastor from Texas, and I live in Iowa. Well, I'm this far away, it's just not fair for me to criticize. It's easy for you to say from 1,000 miles away. Well, I would say this if I was standing in front of the man: you should give more to the flood victims. But because you have this huge facility in Texas and you have victims knocking on your door asking for shelter, and you're not doing anything about it. But anyway, back to the lies. I am shocked at all of the extraordinary claims that are made in this First Amendment community that we enjoy hanging out in, and nobody questions. Many people don't question them, but that's when you're supposed to question, when they make the extraordinary claim. I was 5 years in law enforcement, even though I only had like 3.5 years in my Army enlistment, in which my federal law enforcement was actually military police. That's just an example. And then I went and hunted Nazis in Argentina.
Something else I caught today with SNS and a couple people on his stream was their excuse that, I'm not going to, if somebody comes in here needing something, I'm just going to give it to them. You want me to investigate everybody, investigate all this, investigate all that. I'm just going to, give everybody the benefit of the doubt, blah, blah, blah. And then you go and you want to get on his stream and you go through stream words and do what you do. I think Archer comes to mind. Well, I don't see your picture. I don't see, all I see is your avatar, and that's not going to cut it. I'm not going to just let anybody on the stream. So he has a different set of rules. That, again, that tells me he is involved in this crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff is here. All are welcome, except for Teresa.
That's right. That's right.
All are not welcome then.
Right, and he sure doesn't mind calling me out. He sure doesn't mind calling me out on his panel when he doesn't like what I have to say. He didn't mind calling me a cunt and throwing me off his panel, but they couldn't do the same thing to the fake cripple.
I was trying to tell SNS earlier when you were there, Teresa, and then there was somebody else from the Discord community that was in there, and it was 5 against 1, and nothing can be said. They all talk at the same time. There is no, oops, sorry, excuse me, go ahead with them. They're just going to keep going and talk over each other, talk over the one person from Discord. And I said, hey, make it 3 versus 3. You want to have a good discussion, a fair discussion, put 3 Discord people on there, 3 of your little scammer people on there in this discussion. But he would have none of that.
Yeah, in one moment he'll say, yeah, we can talk about anything you want to. But the minute you start talking about that thing he doesn't want to talk about, you're out of there.
Did you guys see that stream with old Justin Pulliam? After whoever it was got thrown out of that public meeting.
I saw him getting ready to go in that building, but I didn't see when he came back out. I dozed off.
Yeah, his eyes were like he was about ready to get raped. I mean, he was fucking nervous.
He did look a little nervous. How did it go when he came out, though?
I don't know. I never saw it. I never saw it. I'm not subscribed to him, so I didn't get a notification. But
did we ever find out why all of his videos disappeared?
No.
No, I think that's a little bit of a secret mystery.
Jack Miller's all disappeared too.
Or it's a ruse. It's just to get the Murbites curious.
We don't care.
That's true.
We have copies of them all anyway.
Or as much as we need. Sound bites, whatever.
Many sound bites. Oh, do you mind if I play that Lou sound bite before I forget?
Not mine. Go ahead.
Let me see if I can find that. I don't know if I'm going to try to play it and just see if y'all can hear it.
Well, if you need me to play it, I'll dump it right.
Dealings with in Discord. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have screenshots and I have notes and I have lots of other things.
It's pretty quiet.
I have to. There's no other way.
Can you hear it?
No, it's pretty quiet.
Stop fucking rant.
Oh, you can hear it?
No, not really.
Okay, hang on.
If you want me to play it, I will.
Teresa, when you get a chance, can you post the StreamYard link?
I have enough information on all of you that I've had dealings with in Discord. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have screenshots and I have notes and I have lots of other things. But I mean, if I have to, I have to. There's no other way. You're exposing people for being frauds. Stop fucking with the salty rant. If you just leave me the fuck alone, you'll never fucking hear from me. Yes, I'm exposing the bad actors and actresses on Discord. Yes, I have stuff on everyone from Discord. I have enough information on all of you. I have screenshots and I have notes and I have lots of other things. And I would hope that you would fucking just back off. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other way. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're exposing people for being frauds. You need to sell your message with diplomacy. Stop fucking with the salty rant. I have enough information on all of you that I've had dealings with in Discord. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have screenshots and I have notes and I have lots of other things. Yes, I have stuff on everyone from Discord. This is the salty rant saying to everyone, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You don't have things on me.
Give it your best shot, Lou Stefano.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. I don't know why, but I think Lou is amusing.
Lou is very amusing. I'm sad that he's upset with everybody. Oh, I know. He in spurts is very amusing.
For a week back in 2018, I thought he was amusing for about a week. And then after that, it's the same thing. Oh, too soon. Oh, but I digress. Blah, blah, blah. Where is it? On your brain. Jesus, get something new, dude. It's just not working.
Who wanted in on the panel? Teresa put up the
Yeah, it was.
the link.
Who was it? It was. I think it was Stalbert Josiah, I believe.
Yeah, that could be.
Oh no, Dream Team. Dream Team. Teresa Arkin posted a StreamYard link to this panel.
Come on, Dream Team. Come on in. And there'll still be room for Lou. Come on, Dream Team. Come on in.
You're on.
And there'll still be room for Lou.
It's popcorn.
Come on in.
Is my mic on?
Your mic is on.
Yes, sir.
And we're getting some reverb.
Yeah, you got a few things going on. You might want to try to quiet down, like hit mute on those.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Mucho, yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. No, I came on and I haven't talked to you guys in so long, and I miss Bob so much.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you value conversation with Bob.
If that is your real name.
Exactly.
How have you been, popcorn?
I've been good, Teresa. I love you. You know I do.
I'm glad to hear that. I didn't feel very loved today.
Y'all talked about that Batusi night. I was the main guy that was on Discord, you know, attacking him for you.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. And you wanted to get to the truth about it, didn't you?
Big time, because I was such a fan of his before that. But when he sold his soul for David Warden, I was done with him. I've been done with him ever since.
Yeah, he's posting a lot of other people's videos now.
Right.
And he don't. I think he just puts up the link. You know, he doesn't use a fair use. He's just posting their link. That's all he's doing. So
he'll dress up the front end, and he'll do a logo, a thumbnail. But for the most part, he's just putting up other people's content. He's duplicating. I think that's how YouTube puts it.
Duplicate content.
Yep.
He took a big hit for going after Teresa behind that David Warden issue. So you're right. That's all he's done since is pretty much mirror. He's not auditing anymore.
Yeah, you know, I had known Philip for several years before all of that happened, and like I said, I'd even bonded him out of jail before, and I was just shocked, I was just shocked today that he did that.
I was even more shocked, Teresa. You remember, I was like, that Discord night, I was like, all my hope was in Philip having this. I thought he was going to come out against David Warden. And being a father of children, and he just totally backpedaled and became just double down as a fan base.
Yeah.
And that was crazy to me. And I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, boy, I agree with you, Popcorn. I was really surprised because I had always regarded him as a sensible, level-headed person who made some pretty decent videos. some very compelling content, and I admired him for going through with that whole Turner v. Driver court case.
Wolfman, you got a hot mic.
And yeah, Popcorn, if you could click that mute button there on your panel screen, that would be terrific.
How do I hit? Oh, I see.
Click it with your mouse. Yeah, there you go, sir. And so I was really surprised that night when he was in Discord having a conversation with us. He was having to defend himself because he was making assertions such as seeing naked pictures of certain people who he admitted were headless and couldn't prove, but he couldn't prove anything, but he knew it to be true that so-and-so slept with somebody else. And it claims that I don't think any of us really believed, and he was doing nothing to sort of defend his position, which was really needing to be defended that night because they were outrageous claims.
Well, his position was to defend a rapist. That was his position. His position was to take the side of a rapist instead of calling me or talking to me or whatever. And, you know, I did have a chance to talk to him privately that day. And I said, what the hell, what the hell are you doing? I mean, I was really upset about it. And he's like, you're not going to talk to me like that and blah, blah, blah. And he just hung up on me. I guess he didn't think I needed to be upset about it. I don't know, and then all of a sudden he changes the story from he saw pictures of me that were naked to, oh, I saw some pictures of a headless body that was her size and shape. He's never apologized to me for that. He's never, gone on the internet and fixed that. He was on the internet threatening me, telling me that if Earl faced any harassment charges because of the harassment that Earl was doing to me, that they were going to release naked photos of me. A serious internet crime. That's internet harassment. And that's like extortion.
Yeah, I was completely shocked by that behavior. I thought, he would probably make a very well-respected member of this community, the Discord family that we've sort of created, and you call it whatever you want to, but because I felt he was a sensible guy. And then he came in here with his guards up, with his all of his defenses up, and in attack mode. And I was just shocked by that because it didn't seem like the reasonable person I thought that he was.
Well, he had even done a couple of live streams himself, his little Batosai shows that he does. And while not directly naming names, pointing fingers, he was alluding to the fact that there's problems. And it sounded like he was saying, look, we don't need this crap from News Now Houston. And so that's the direction I was expecting him to take when he finally did come out and put his foot down and say, look, News Now Houston, blah, 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 this auditing community, blah, blah. And he went the total different direction and just blew my mind.
Hey, a quick note to those in chat. My two beagles, he said that she's dead. No, the name of the person that Colonel stole is dead. So let's get that straight.
Beaver Cam really should not be in the stream right now because I have asked him not to be around me. He has been harassing me and stalking me for the last 18 months. So I'm afraid.
You're talking about Leave It to Beaver?
I'm afraid that he better watch what he says in here because I've asked him not to come around me. I've asked him to leave me alone where he shows up.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. This is what bothers me because there are people like this Leave It to Beaver fella that will carry the water for a rapist and spread their lies and come into my live stream and say things that are not true. And they carry the water for these rapists, and nobody ever says a word to them. Nobody ever calls these out. This guy's been harassing me and stalking me, calling my phone, sending my phone vulgar text messages, and calling me scorned. You see him in the chat right there, calling me scorned.
And we've all seen those too. We've all seen the screenshots of the bullshit he's doing. He's like Lou. He has a very weak troll game. He needs attention in a big way. He really needs attention, and he lacks the ability to get it in any other way.
I'll donate $1 to the ASPCA if you kick him out.
No, Beaver, you don't change. I've changed, and then you're back. I've changed, and then you're back. No, this is just the way you are, and the I can change bit is all a part of it as well. You're trash. You always will be trash. That's all right, though.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
bye.
right. He's trash. He's a total fucking piece of trash.
He did shoot down a helicopter.
Yeah,
That's right.
Mr. I shot down a helicopter.
That's
Get the
right.
fuck out of here.
I remember him now. Yeah, great.
Anything for attention.
That's right. He came in the Discord for 6 hours claiming that he had shot down helicopters and that he had all these giant weapons and that he lived on the banks of some river and just a whole bunch of shit.
Totally believable. Totally believable.
There's a lot of people in this community that are just desperate for attention, and they think they're going about it the right way. Oh, look who showed up. Lou. God, I haven't heard you or seen you or your name mentioned. Sorry.
And
you're not that big a deal. You're not important enough to be on our minds all day long.
And apparently some gullible people too, if they're either believing it or not saying anything to question it.
Hey, I'll get out if Lou's going to get on. We got to have a space for him. Hi, Archer.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you this fine evening?
Archer. Hi, Archer.
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking.
Let me just update everybody that Lou is not in the background or the backstage waiting or anything. As soon as he does, though, I'll have to give up one of the spaces for him because I have promised him a space on this panel.
I'll give it up.
Take it personally.
I'll give it up. I'll give up a spot. That's not a big deal. You can kick me and I'll just listen.
But at this moment in time, he's not there, so we can go on with what we were doing. I think he's running scared.
Did he go away?
I'll take one for the team.
Archer, do you have anything to add to what we were talking about? Or did you get to hear what we were talking about by chance?
No, I heard you talk about Beaver.
Well, we were just talking about, I guess, frauditors in the community and people that, are making claims, I guess, to try to get people to donate money to them, and these grandiose claims that no one ever questions.
Oh yeah, and the funniest one is this kernel person that obviously has lied. You can tell that that a lot of what this person says is a lie, but yet people still, give them a platform to tell those lies on. It's ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't know if you've heard but now, the SNS guy said that he would give out all this information as soon as his wife got home to be able to send out that email. But now he's claiming that she's dead, apparently committed suicide, and he's going to wait 3 days to give the family time to mourn and grieve.
So who committed suicide? The Colonel?
Yeah.
That's what he's claiming.
Oh my goodness.
Like they haven't already been conned enough. I'm surprised that they're not raising money for her funeral.
SNS said he had family ties to him.
I mean, to figure out what those family ties are.
It's this community. It never stops. It's constantly going on, and it will never stop. There's always going to be one lie after another, just to get money or to get fame or to get notoriety. It's sickening at this point.
It is.
And then you have a guy like Lou who tells Teresa that she needs to grow up, which I think is hilarious because he's living the life of a 17 or 18-year-old kid. He's a grown man in his 40s or maybe even 50s, I'm not sure, who has a job, and no offense, by the way, but has a job making, less than $10 an hour, who lives in his mother-in-law's house with, his whole life seems to be one big loser after another. I mean, I could try to troll him, but there's no way that I'm going to troll him as bad as life has already trolled him.
Well, that's true. And that's my opinion of it, too.
Exactly, Archie.
So I feel bad for the kid. He's just desperate. Doesn't know how to go about it.
Well, now he was in YouTube, right? And he disappeared.
The J and the SNS, one of those panel streams, and then he was in the chat, and he ran off. I didn't get a chance to say anything to him.
Oh yeah, Felipe popped in and Lou popped out. I wonder if there's a connection.
He asked Bob about Lou leaving YouTube. He's done that several times, just like Discord. He has a hard time committing to anything. YouTube, Discord. He picks one person to bully around. He doesn't stick with that long, then it's a different one, and then he's friends with the other one again. He can't commit. I'm surprised he's been married as long as he has.
Well, I think it's funny that Lou thinks anybody is jealous of him. I mean, what does he have that anybody is jealous of? I can't imagine that. I would love to live with my mother-in-law, and I couldn't imagine making the money that he's making for the last who knows how many years. The guy is a loser, always has been a loser, always will be a loser. There's nothing that's going to change in his life, so I'm not sure what I'm jealous about.
It's a joke about living, in your mom's basement, but Lou actually does.
Well, I live in my mom's house, supposedly, so, and I get a trust fund.
Well,
my brother.
I'd rather live in my mom's house than my mother-in-law's.
I'll tell you what, though, my mom bought me a whole lot nicer house than an old shitty cat piss hotel.
Oh my God, you're talking about Patty Whack's place.
That's one of the things Patrick likes to troll me with. He says I live in my mom's house. My mom bought my house, or something like that. I live in my house. So I always tell him that my mom bought me a better house than his mom bought him.
I saw that picture that Patrick posted with Selena. They're at the hotel. Selena's in one bed over here, and you see half of this bed with Patrick in it, but you don't see the other half of the bed you don't see Nomad either. Just saying.
Well, Patrick says if you share a hotel room, then everybody's having sex in there. So I guess they're all having sex together. I don't know. That's the claim they made. You share a hotel room, everybody in it's doing it. So I guess that's what's
I don't believe everybody in that hotel room was doing it. Selena was all by herself.
Maybe so.
Or maybe Patrick was getting pegged by Nomad.
So my question about having pets there at that hotel, who takes care of the litter box? Who feeds the pets?
Well, according to Texas, the cats apparently don't use a litter box because it smells like cat urine.
They use the prayer method.
What is the prayer method?
Open prayer.
They have bioactive floors, Bob.
That was all the rage back in the year that building was built, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, hey, I want a drink, and then I see you tip it up. Oh, sorry.
Yep, just like the substrate in my lizard's cage. It's bioactive.
I have a question for everybody.
What's that, Popcorn?
What's that, Colonel Popcorn?
I was watching a video today, Watchman versus Watchman. I don't know if everybody's familiar with.
AV Watchman?
No, not AV, but Watchman versus Watchman.
I'm not familiar.
Isn't that Amagatsson Press's kid?
Yes. That's his son's channel.
Sure, you bet.
You got it. I've noticed a trend of auditors are fighting people, and I want to know the people are starting to side with the police versus the auditors. And I want to know people's, reactions on that, because I'm feeling the same way. Especially like auditing America. He's going out, and it's the people that are fighting the auditors, not the police. And I want to know people's reactions on that. Not the police. I want to know people's reactions on it.
Could you go ahead and hit mute when you're finished there, sir? So, okay, you're looking at this from the perspective that sometimes it's the police that go after the auditor, and sometimes the public will turn rabid and say, "What are you doing?" And I've seen that. If I'm shooting video of a building under construction, I might get the superintendent or the foreman down asking me questions about who I am and what am I doing and what am I going to do with it. And I'll just post pictures to Facebook. We've got a group called Lost Des Moines, where buildings that are either being torn down or are gone, we'll post information about that. So I've certainly seen the general public turn on the photographers.
It's interesting. I brought this up a couple days ago. There's a couple that all they do is travel around. They go from country to country, state to state. And all they do is video blog their interactions with people, and they videotape in the airports, and they videotape all these different buildings and different places. And it's interesting because I don't ever see them having anybody give them an issue with videotaping at all. And you're thinking, well, it can't be the camera, right? I mean, that's what these auditors want you to believe. It's the camera that's causing the issue. But I'm thoroughly convinced that it's not the camera, because nobody really cares about a camera. It's the conduct of the person that's holding that camera that's giving them the issues. If they went into a place, in my opinion, without the attitude, I think they'd have less issues than they do that with the attitude, because it's the attitude that's getting them the issues, not the camera.
Exactly, Archer. I love that. I love the answer you just gave.
And Archer, how many sidewalks have you been on filming?
That's I wanted to add to that. I wanted to add to that real quick. I'm sorry, Archer, to keep interrupting you, but I think as far as what Popcorn is saying, and especially for those of us that are on the panel, having been in Discord and listened and learned so much about what the law actually says and what you can actually do and what you actually can't do, I think it's a little bit different for us watching these videos now. Whenever you see right away, you can see right away when it's time for them to leave. You can see right away when they violated that trespass. You can see right away when they've refused. You know what I'm saying? And I think that makes it different for us watching now than it used to.
Even from just a year ago, Teresa, when I first got Fan Club going, one of the things was I didn't want to make it all negative. And this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of, not sure what direction to take it. I didn't want it to be all negative. I wanted to really highlight the good and still point out the bad. And, I don't want to let either one go. And you get to the point where you're like looking for something good. And it's hard to find. It really is. And that is very unfortunate.
Take it, Archer.
It is interesting when it comes to, there's always going to be that weird element out there that's going to confront somebody taking a video of the police station, because I think, when you think about people going out and videotaping things. Probably one of the last places you're going to want to videotape is a police station, right? Because that seems weird. But it's interesting seeing all these other vloggers that are out there in YouTube land who have millions of subs, who go out and do videotaping and just normal different places, but don't ever have anybody coming up to them and questioning them. To me, it's an interesting, almost like mindset, right? How the brain works. Why does this group of people get all of the heat, when there are other channels who have much bigger audiences get no heat?
I think Teresa nailed it. I mean, vloggers are vloggers. You could go out and vlog all day and people are expecting that. But auditors are out there trying to incite. I haven't always felt like this. I'm not talking about cop watchers, but going into city buildings and just making YouTube videos of people standing in line, paying their taxes, getting a driver's license, getting post office things. That has become an issue nowadays. And it's not like walking down the beach vlogging. Issue nowadays. And it's not like.
When I first got involved in this video activism, I know a lot of people know it was after my daughter and granddaughter died in that house fire, and I was doing everything that I could to try to get the records and stuff from the fire. And I'm gonna lose my train of thought again. I remember at the time when I first started working with PINAC that it took scouring and scouring the internet for the videos, that we would write about. There weren't authors per se out there trying to make videos of police interactions. And so it really took scouring of the internet to find these things. And that's what that was what we did all day. We didn't sit on Discord so much. We sat on Facebook, and we had a little press room, and we would share information with each other about different stories all day long, and look up pull the records and find out who these are. And I mean, we'd see videos, and we would have to look into, what and who these people were and what exactly happened. We'd pull the reports, we'd pull everything that we could, so that we knew we weren't doing a story on somebody, that maybe had just axe murdered someone or something like that. Now there's so many people out there making videos where they want a reaction from the police, where they're trying to get a reaction, and it's not so much people in just regular, normal, human, everyday situations that remember to pull their camera out, that remember to turn their camera on. It's people that are going out there and they're looking at these interactions, and they're looking for them as they can so that they can have a viral video. And I think that's, I think that's a bad thing. I think that's causing more problems than it's solving. I don't think it's doing any good.
And there's an awful lot of clickbait out there too, isn't there, Teresa?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree with you, Teresa. I think the thing is that the people versus the auditors interaction is erupting like a volcano nowadays. And it's not about the police anymore. It's about the people versus the auditors. There's auditing on buses, and the entire bus wants to attack the auditor. And the auditor's yelling, I could do this by the Constitution. And it doesn't matter about the Constitution. There's a bus load of 80 people wanting to stomp on one person because he's walking around sticking his camera in people's faces. And that's what this has come down to. That's just my opinion.
Well, one of the most annoying things I see is somebody walking into the lobby of a social services facility and standing there walking around videotaping everything, including all of the people in the lobby. Now, I know you go out in public and you step into a public lobby, your expectation of privacy goes way down. So it's hard to really make a legitimate complaint against it, but it's not fun for you if you're sitting there in the lobby and you're one of the people that is in need. I think that's in terrible taste for these auditors to do those kinds of things. And if they're asked to leave, I'd like to see them leave, but is it legal for them to be there? Maybe, but it's just in horrible taste.
Exactly, Bob, and that's my point. When the action becomes insightful, it was personal to me because I'm from Michigan. It was, I think, in around Lansing or Grand Blanc or one of the, I forget her name, but she went on a bus and she incited 80 people to hate her for filming. And they didn't beat her down or anything like that, but the police had to come in and she got arrested because, and this is my point, the police aren't going to come in and arrest a busload of 80 people versus one person agitating the 80 people. And this is what the auditors don't get. They're just like, you can audit, it's legal. You could, if you cause a riot, you're constitutionally protected. And that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And that's what I'm saying. That's my point on this, bringing this point up. Question.
Well, who wants to go into the Department of Family Services to get food stamps and have some idiot in there sticking cameras in their face? Who wants to do that?
Well, it's interesting. I noticed this way back kind of when, the kind of the direction this was going when Peaceful Street, that group came around, and man, their sole goal, it seemed like, was to see how many cops they could cuss out for absolutely no reason. And you saw the interaction with the public when they would do that, and it was like, pretty volatile, right? I mean, they were out there doing those stuff, but the ones that were really reacting to them weren't the police. It was the citizens around them, and that was just kind of the starting point of what you're seeing today. It's bad because it went a completely wrong direction, I think.
Yeah, that's very true. I remember, and I know some people that are still involved with Peaceful Streets, especially there in Austin. But I remember that caused a kind of a riff, and that's been, and I've been involved in this for a long time. That's probably been 6 years or so ago, but it caused a big riff with the kind of, rhetoric that they were speaking, and talking to police in the way they were. It was causing a bit of a riff, and I guess that's kind of one of the original riffs. I've always liked Antonio, and I've talked to him before once or twice, but I wasn't real impressed. I'm not real impressed with how angry he used to be. I don't know that that's the case anymore so much, but yeah, he was very, very angry, and they acted like they were very angry people.
Most of the time he was on the right side of the law, even though he was obnoxious, and he knew just what buttons to push to get the cops to get the cops going, right? But at the end of the day, the police officer is supposed to be the professional, and he should do his best to either de-escalate or ignore, because most of these people with cameras, if you just ignore them, nothing happens.
And I agree with you, Bob, that is their job, and they should know how to de-escalate. That they should learn how to walk away. And so I agree with you there. Bueller, like you said, it might have been callous and crass and whatever, but he was usually on the right side of the law.
Bob, but when the auditors are fighting with the people, there's 330 million people in the United States. There's 300 auditors. How do you think law and the police are going to look at that when 330 million people don't agree with sticking cameras in your face and agitating people just because it's legal? That is my point here.
I think your point is well taken. I believe that most people, and this is my feeling, I don't know this to be true, but my feeling, my sense is that most people would object to somebody behaving like that with a camera. I do believe that there's an important civic function that has to be allowed to take place, and there has to be some middle ground there. So, and I think we have to be able to be more intrusive than the mainstream press, because the mainstream press, at the end of the day, wants to maintain a good, friendly relationship with the police department and other government agencies, in fact, with other businesses, because they rely on advertising and for access to the news. So access to the public information officer at the police station, that relationship is important to them. So they're probably less likely to be obnoxious and too intrusive. But I would say that we could stand to be a lot more intrusive while, being assertive without being disrespectful.
Well, I agree. That's what this movement was really, this community, whatever, was supposed to be all about, was educating the public in their rights. And I always enjoy videos where people are in like more human situations. Teach you how to exercise rights in those situations, because there are people that like to stand at the end of a runway and take pictures of airplanes. We talked to Air Trash about that, and see, Odin's in the. Let me bring him in. Hi, Odin. But
Hey.
I lost my train of thought again. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I remember. It's like, when people want to take pictures of planes or trains or whatever, caught in these situations where an officer's asking them, "What the hell are you doing?" or whatever, to be able to assert their rights then. That's a more normal situation. That's the kind of education that I think people want. They don't want to know how to scream and yell at a cop and get trespassed. I mean, is that what you want the whole country doing? Getting trespassed from every post office in town?
And there's millions and millions of people to go out and videotape every day. Why aren't they getting hemmed up?
And that's Archer's point, and it's valid. There are ways to attract positive attention. There's ways to attract negative attention, and I think a lot of the auditors have found both ways, and they get more clicks and views when they, create a ruckus. Go ahead.
Well, look at your one video, Bob, that you did. All you were doing is sitting there taking pictures of a building. You got the action you did. You didn't scream, yell, or act like a retard or anything. You got a great video.
Well, I was also taking pictures of cars that were parked under no parking zones, and they just happened to belong to police officers at police headquarters.
Hey, can I make an observation here? How come we're not talking over everybody like everybody does in all those other streams? I don't understand.
I love you, Squatch.
Aren't Discord people known to do that or be anti-First Amendment, anti-Second Amendment? But yeah, we have great discussions on the First Amendment, the Second, and so on.
Rick Rude isn't here. That's the reason.
Oh, the one that does death threats on people.
There are some challenging personalities, I'll give you that. I could name a few.
I'm going to step off and let WTT join. I know he's just dying to get on here.
Thanks for coming on, Sasquatch. I don't see WTT backstage. He's always more than welcome here. But I don't see him backstage. I'll let him on as soon as I see him.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how does Cece's backstage? I don't have access to any of that, do I?
I don't think whenever you're on the panel that you can see backstage, but I can. It shows me all of your boxes. It shows me and Bob and Popcorn and Archer and Odin. And then if somebody else clicks in, it'll ding in my ear and I'll scroll down and I can see, but nobody's there. So it's just us.
So how come the other coon ass isn't in here?
Who's the other?
Boomer. Why she get a wrench? Huh?
I think Boomer has a wrench. I tried to give Miss Joe a wrench, but I think I gave it to the wrong account. I gave it to a MZ Joe.
You're just being sexist. It's okay.
I don't know who MZ Joe is. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's Miss Joe also. It was I found it with the video, the Patrick video.
Hey, Odin, I've got a message for you from Boomer. Shut the fuck up.
Now, Boomer, go back to your cage.
I miss him, man. I miss him on Discord. I can't get in Discord. Bob, I can't get there. Can you get me there?
Get you into Discord?
I mean, I haven't been there in 6, 7, 8, 9 months. There's something on my computer. It won't let me in Discord.
I can send them an invite to mine.
A link, I could get in, and sometimes I can't.
Trace, I can send him the link to mine. And once he's in mine, you can send him the link to the other one if you guys want to.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I've been to yours, Odin. Like you gave me a color, and I'm programmed into your system, but I can't just pop into your Discord. If you send me a link, maybe I can.
Is it
Popcorn?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Popcorn, but Odin's last server, someone got it taken down. I guess they didn't like the information or whatever, but it got taken down, and so that might be why you're having a hard time getting on that server. It might be the old server.
1967. But I've gotten in, Teresa. That I've been in, and then sometimes I can't get in.
Is it Popcorn Chronicles?
No. Me and him are cool because we have Popcorn as our names, and we've always been together. He gets in. I can't get in. I'm Popcorn 1967. You accepted me in your thing, Odin. I'm in your thing, but I just can't get. I can't get in. I can't get into Herb's Discord. I got like a dozen Discords. I can't get into any of them.
Popcorn 1967.
Yep.
I got you. I just sent you a DM.
Okay, thanks, Odin.
Anytime.
All right. I believe Popcorn brought up Amagansett Press's son, and I think that's right. And there was a recent audit at a police station where they had a sign out front. Now, understand this is Colorado, and there's a law that apparently the police station feels addresses their sign prohibiting photography inside. So the question is the sign constitutional? And I wonder if anybody has any thoughts about that.
Where is that sign?
It's in the front window of the police station in, it's Denver's third. I don't think they call them precincts. I think they might call them districts.
Probably is legal because they do have a right to regulate what goes on inside that courthouse. And if they think that the cameras are a safety or a security issue, then they will, they can do that.
Wouldn't just the right of somebody's justice trump the right of cameras?
Well, my question kind of is, I understand that when you have a prohibition, a government wants to create a prohibition against something, that it should be narrowly tailored to serve at least some government interest, whether it's a significant or important government interest. It should be narrowly tailored to meet that. Now, the state code that they relied on, and I think I can come up with it, CRS 18-9-117, does not appear to specifically address a person holding a camera. So I'm having a hard time coming up with justification for that sign.
My thoughts are, because that's what they did in the courthouse here and what they've done in courthouses in other places, is that they are allowed to set rules for decorum and security, blah, blah, and that they're going to rely on those reasons, I guess.
And that's right across the street from Eric Brandt's running grounds at that other courthouse that's across the patio.
It does not surprise me, Sass, that there is a sign in front of this police station that says no photography. And I have a sneaking suspicion Eric might be behind the motivation there. But I still believe that I cannot find the justification. I understand they're allowed to make rules, but the rules have to be narrowly tailored to serve a government interest. And as hard as I've been thinking about this, I cannot come up with a good reason why they would prevent photography.
Now, personally, yeah, I think that sign is unconstitutional because judges can't make laws; they can only interpret them.
And it's not even a courthouse; it's a police station.
But
in a jail, yeah.
Said Merv has been pushing this, like Leon Valley. You know, they went into Leon Valley and you could film all over the place. But when you act an ass, it changes the circumstances. And this is what has been transpiring across the country. If you're going in there to create a spectacle, then the First Amendment gets shot to hell.
Well, okay, but Popcorn, the behavior is another matter. Let's just say you're walking in there because you have to report a crime. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you've got a GoPro Velcro to your chest. You walk in there and say, I want to make a report of a crime, and the camera's not really doing anything. It's no threat to public safety. It all it's doing is recording the interaction, documenting for documentary posterity, or for sharing informational purposes later on, to document your observations and the conduct of the interaction. So it being there by itself is not necessarily creating a disruption. So what's the problem with it?
Could it be due to...
Are 100% correct, Bob. And this is what Merv's point was 4 fucking years ago. Because the Mexican Padilla and people like Mexican Padilla, we could have been in there with GoPros with no problem. but we've had these disturbances using filming, just filming and trying to cause a disturbance. And now it has come down to this. Right. 4 years ago, me, you, anybody, Boomers, Squatch, Teresa, we could go in there with a GoPro and it's no big deal. But because of these fucking idiots, which we are all here for, this was brought us all together. Because of all these idiots that has caused this problem, which Merv said 2-3 years ago, is going to take our rights away.
Okay, but once again, we're not talking about behavior. Let's just say, for sake of argument, that the behavior was nice, that the photographers were being nice. How is that? How is that considered a disturbance? What's wrong with going into a police station with a GoPro velcroed to your chest?
Bob,
It prevented it. It stopped it. Did Merv put out that video that you could walk through the entire courthouse with a video camera? But after Mexican Padilla went in there cussing out the police chief in Spanish and just going,
I get it.
We get it.
Where you're going with it, you're still talking about behavior, though.
Hold on, I got a point here, Popcorn. Let me in. It could due to protecting the witness to a crime, domestic violence. You know, a woman getting beat up doesn't want to be on YouTube with all scarred up because of her husband and all that, and vice versa.
And you know, Bob, sadly, these auditors have proven that that's what happens, when they go in there with their cameras in those police stations, they're video recording these victims. And I'm all for people documenting their interactions with police. And I think whenever you're in a one-party consent state, I don't know that anybody would be the wiser if you just put your phone in your pocket, your chest pocket or whatever, and just let it roll, and nobody be the wiser, and you have what you need to document the situation. But, to go in there with a camera and, walk around with it like they're doing, it's one thing to document it. And I don't think they'd have a problem. I don't think that they could say they have a problem with that legally. I don't think that there could be an issue with you saying, I want to document this servants and I want to document my interaction with it. But now they're going to say, well, that's no problem, except that this is a police station. We have victims coming in here, and they do. And what we've seen on these on these live streams is people going in these police stations and literally harassing victims.
And the thing about Leon Valley is that they don't allow any phones in there now, because they're calling it a courthouse, because they have court there one day a week in one of the side rooms there. So now nobody can bring their phone in at all to Leon Valley.
They're basically re-victimizing the victim.
Yeah, and this is an example often used against the auditors. You guys are making things worse. You're not moving the football down the field, which I don't argue with at all. And by the way, hi, Boomer.
Hi, Boomer. And Bob, I'm not trying to move the football down the field or change the goalposts, because I saw things exactly like you see them. I walked into a police station, got arrested for doing it. Well, they didn't have a sign, but they did the next day. So I get what you're saying. And I didn't think that sign was fair at the time either. But as I've seen some of the videos that have come out, I can kind of understand how, just willy-nilly saying, or not having some sort of restriction, what can go wrong? You know what I mean? I gave them a reason, I guess. There was nobody in there whenever I went in there with my video camera, no victims or anything. as auditors, we've given them a reason to say, well, gosh, people could record in here before, but that might not be such a good idea because look at what could happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to move the goalposts.
Yeah, well, moving the football down the field is hopefully what the auditors are doing, or at least attempting to do. But yeah, the goalposts should stay where they belong. And I think that training among the staff would help a lot, because I think a lot of times they create the problems. Not always, and I know that behavior is a big part of this. When people go in and they act like idiots, that tends to turn employees against the photographers. So I concede that 100%.
And Leon Valley is a whole different animal because of Salvaggio.
Yeah, I agree. I also think, I really think that you should be able to walk into City Hall and be able to video record what's going on, or take your camera out and take pictures of what they have in the office or whatever. But I do understand drawing the line at, maybe walking up to people or pointing the camera at people and upsetting other people while you're doing it. It's one thing you want to go into City Hall and you want to video record the stuff they have there, and that's great. It's one thing if you want to go to City Hall and you want to take pictures instead of making copies of the book of minutes or whatever you're looking at, the budget, whatever. That's different. But I guess
I'm about to be a tyrant and time out GD and vital organ.
Uh-oh.
Just saying.
And that was my point, Teresa, because I so agree with you.
Boomer, we know you're a tyrant. Sorry.
Shut the fuck up, Odin.
What up, Boomer?
Hello.
My point, Teresa, you nailing on the head. I'm just saying there's a difference of walking. This is why vloggers have no problem, but auditors have major problems, because there's a trend now that they're inciting the public. Vloggers aren't inciting the public. Vloggers are walking all over the place, filming anything they want to do, interviewing people on the streets, blah, 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 blah. Auditors are having a major problem. It's becoming, I forgot that old time 80s show. There was an old time 80s show where they used to just, public rag on each other. But that's my point. That's where auditing has left observing police and has turned its attention on fighting the public citizens. And there's 333 million public citizens. And who knows, a couple thousand auditors and their fan base. It's retarded. It's retarded to think that that's going to move into a direction.
Well, I have dominated this conversation, the subject of the conversation, far too long. I vote we move on to bubble baths.
Boomer, tell us about bubble baths.
I took a shower today.
Oh, no.
But can y'all fill me in? I've heard that somebody died.
Nobody died.
Yes, Boomer. That's the word on the street now that these frauditors are trying to spin this into, that, the colonel got up and walked, having all of her discs fused at the back and being paralyzed from the waist down, got up, walked around, banged on a table, got some food, a fork, fixing to sit down and eat. Got caught. Didn't say a word yesterday. Apparently, now she's dead. That's what they're trying to tell people.
Right, and she went into a canal?
Pardon?
Something about tie in weights to her wheelchair and went off into the canal?
Oh my God. Really? Really? I don't know why she didn't just jump because she can walk. Why would she tie weights on her stupid wheelchair? She doesn't really need it. I mean, just get up out of the chair, tie all those weights to your feet, and jump.
Well, it
That is
would have made
crazy.
news wherever she's from. I don't know where she's from, but it seems like it would have been in the papers or the news or something.
Well, I happen to
probably
think it's a
a load of
ruse, but
shit.
that's me.
Hey,
Me
Sentinel's in
too.
here.
Hi, Desert.
A load of crap. She got caught with her hand in a cookie jar, and she's probably going to come back as somebody else here in 4 or 5 days.
Not
Boomer,
owing anybody a dime, right?
Boomer, can you
Yep.
tell us? Can you tell us how you've heard maybe that she tied weights to the wheelchair?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay, I didn't know. I just was curious.
Yeah.
Know if that's what they're spilling out on that live panel stream that they've been doing tonight or not. I wasn't sure, but that's insane. That's insane, insane, insane.
Desert Sentinel, hello there.
How's it
Hi
going,
there.
Desert? What you got for us?
I wanted to pop in real quick because I was listening in and I had a chance to pop in. Going back to the issues of going backwards and all of this, when I went out to Antelope Valley Hospital the other week, I had no idea what I was going to find out there. And what I found was after
I keep
that
getting disconnected.
incident, am I back?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What I found out there were no trespassing signs all over the place now. And it was as a result of what occurred with AV and Doug. And I had a conversation with Nasty in which him and AV, actually, from what I understand, were out there and recorded all over that hospital prior to that incident. So was it the incident? Was it the embarrassment of what allegedly had occurred that they captured? Or was it the repeated conduct thereafter that caused Antelope Valley Hospital to react in the way they did? I don't know. All I know is if I were to walk onto that property and try and pull out my cell phone camera or walk around with a gimbal or anything else, I'm sure I would have been trespassed. They didn't bother me when I was out on the sidewalk. But I'll tell you one thing, those signs are very prominent. They're all over the place, and it's actually rather ugly looking. So that was the only point I wanted to bring in about is the aftermath of some of this stuff.
There's another, and I know that's not a public place, even though that's been alleged over and over again that you can't, just walk up and record. And now I guess, there'll be people out there maybe taking pictures with their kids or whatever, and who knows what. And somebody will come along and say, you can't do that.
And there's the Adderley v. Florida case, and that discusses the use of property, and that the owner or manager of the property pretty much gets to decide how it's going to be used, and totally fair. And I always recommend when people are out there, especially the new ones and the 16-year-olds that are out there doing it, to read that court case and to decode it, because there's some important information that you should keep in mind going into places, going between the public sidewalk and the building. You have more restrictions there. It's not a traditional public forum, but that seems to escape people. And there's the site right there, the citation.
I've been preaching about Adderley v. Florida, and none of the auditors are reading because they're scared of the truth.
No, it might be the way you come across to everyone.
And that's a big part of the conversation. It's how do you behave yourself? And also, and I think a lot of the auditors think, well, I can go right up to the contours of the law and I can behave however I want to within my own boundaries, even if it's obnoxious. But then we find ourselves with additional, like Desert has alluded to, we find ourselves with additional limitations with the no trespassing signs, etc.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And Boomer, we were talking about the delivery in all of this because I've got a lot of criticism for my delivery, I guess, in some of the things that I said in some panel streams earlier today, and probably last night as well. Maybe, I think. But you know, I spent a couple of weeks trying to be very kind in my delivery. And I just got, sometimes you just get fed up in trying to be nice and delivering it as, as best you can. And people don't want, people want to believe in the fairy tale, and it upsets them whenever they can't. And I hate that. But sometimes you got to deliver the news. Sometimes you just got to deliver the news, you just got to be blunt with it.
Right, and there's a way to do it on both sides. You can try to be nice the first 20, 30 times, and then just finally you just got to have a little bit of Cajun come out.
Boomer, I've talked to him. I sent them the fucking link. Here, read this. It might help you out. Then they say, yeah, I'll get to it. After the 50th time I tell them, hey, read this, you kind of get annoyed or pissed off that they ain't reading it and you're trying to help them. So you're like, fuck it, do whatever.
Oh, Odin, how many times have I told you to fuck off?
You're my favorite Hobbit, though.
Yeah. How many times you've told me to read shit and I've told you to fuck off? You can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do. You just have to learn that.
Well, it's interesting to say that I recently had a chat with somebody in my comments about some of this case law and what you can and cannot do. And when I was presenting it to them, and this person was actually reading it, and one of the things that I was discussing was the myths that are perpetrated within the community, and one of the subjects that came up was the myth of you cannot trespass my eyes. Well, when you read the 1948 case law of McDonald versus the United States, it's been misused, and it was the quote, actually, if I can remember it, was the eyes cannot commit the trespass. Is that correct? And it had to do with law enforcement looking through a window above a door. It has nothing to do with photography. And your eyes can be trespassed. I mentioned to them there are peeping Tom laws. And the person just dismissed everything that I had to say about it. So, at some point in time, it's like, well, like Odin says, then go ahead and do what you're going to do.
And that is frustrating. That's very frustrating.
You can sugarcoat it 100 different ways, and after that, you're like, oh, fuck it, do whatever. Sorry.
It's frustrating to watch. It's frustrating to watch them now. I didn't see this video yesterday, but it was my understanding that I think his name is Good Citizen, Extra Good Citizen. That's it. Who seems like a really nice fella, but he was trespassed from somewhere yesterday. I'm not exactly sure what he was doing there, but he's one of those people that doesn't think he can be trespassed from public property, and that concerns me because I don't want to see him get jammed up.
You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I remember spending a good half hour with Minnesota Guardian about an issue he got jammed up with, but He just keeps getting himself into trouble. He won't listen to save his life. Same with that 16-year-old auditor that's been in Discord over the last couple of weeks, I think. Just does not seem to accept or grasp how laws apply to him. He lives in New York. He was citing 149G that apparently gives him permission to videotape anything he wants to in New York. And so just to be funny, I said, do you know what 3802 says? And nowhere in his response was the fact that it was a Texas code, didn't apply to him in New York.
Right, and when, like, how long should you waste your time with one person trying to help whenever they don't want help to begin with?
I think people need to be curious, and if they're not even curious about how the laws work, they really don't have any business in this activism, in my opinion.
Well,
not to mention that, but they should have a war chest, and they should have provisions for when they can't make it back to their house because they're in jail. Who's going to feed the cats? And who's going to take care of the house? And yeah, the DHS memo, the poster 7 at the post office, et cetera, et cetera. It's just real hard to train these people.
I'm going to take off. I'll be listening back in, and you guys take care.
goodbye, Desert.
Bye,
Thank you
Desert.
for coming on the panel.
Yep, take it easy, man.
You guys, I'm going to bring on NJ Diver.
The Link Master.
Welcome, sir.
Look at his avatar.
New
Good evening, all.
You're on the air.
Good evening, all.
Hello, NJ. Nice to have you on the panel.
Well, thank you for letting me on.
You're more than welcome. I'm saving a space for Lou now. So if Lou comes around, I've given him a link to the panel and everything. So if he comes around, I'm sorry. We'll flip a coin and see who goes, but I'll have to take one spot for Lou. I'm saving Lou a spot. I'm gonna give him all the time he needs to be able to say whatever he wants to me right here.
I see I'm popular with GD already.
He can have my spot when he gets here, Teresa.
Well, NJ, the king of links, what do you think about everything we've been talking about? You have anything to add?
Well, just an agreement, really. As something similar to what Bob said, you can bring someone to knowledge, but you can't make them think. I mean, CRUD and Fan Club have all the information these people need to keep themselves from being hemmed up. And if they do get hemmed up because they've run into a tyrant, they will have the knowledge to either get to a supervisor that has common sense, unless, of course, the supervisor is also a tyrant, which there are plenty of those, and be able to defend themselves in front of a magistrate or a judge when they get brought in. Unfortunately, they don't seem to care enough about their own freedom to study these things, to read, to even take the advice of those that may not be experienced but have the knowledge. And Minnesota Guardian's a perfect example. This 16-year-old auditor seems to be another example of it.
Well, the misinformation is rampant, and I'm sure there's lots of kids out there that are watching these videos and hearing these crazy 10-foot rules and poster 7s repeated over and over again, 3802, 148G, 148A, whatever.
Yes, and unfortunately for us, ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's the perfect excuse for an officer, but not for a civilian. And as has been said before, anybody can go out and buy a phone, anybody can go out and buy a camera and do these things from ignorance and claim that in front of a judge. But once you've stepped over the line, you've stepped over the line, and you have to meet your maker in the form of a judge or magistrate. And unless they are very understanding of the situation, they too will just say, pay the man or go to jail.
And it's kind of like gambling in the house. The house always has the advantage. In this case, the police officer always has qualified immunity, right?
And judges and DAs have ultimate immunity. Unless, of course, they're caught in fraud.
So you take all the risk, and the police take almost no risk. Certainly nothing short term. So even if you do get over the hurdle or the high bar of qualified immunity, it takes years to get through courts. And then oftentimes it's nominal damages. In other words, $1. So it's not like you're ever going to see, you're never going to be made whole again going and doing battle with police.
Yes, unfortunately, that's the case, and I'm sure you're finding out about it right now, but there are 6 circuits that do uphold our right to do it, at least in a traditional public forum.
Right, in fairly narrow circumstances too. So I mean, the case fact pattern could be slightly different in another case, and voila, the 3rd district all of a sudden doesn't offer a clearly established right to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, that's our case is very interesting, considering several years before the 2017 decision, they had determined that it did not exist, and the actual people involved in the 2017 decision, for some reason, were able to get their cases reheard by the same court, possibly with different judges. I'm sorry, and it was a district court, excuse me. It was a district court that found for the city against them, and they appealed it, and that's what happened.
Well, there's our lovely host.
I'm so sorry. I've taken my computer off the charger and was walking around and forgot to put it back on, and it just poof died.
No worries.
I had to restart, so apologize.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm gonna turn my
sorry.
camera back off because GD says I'm having a bad hair day.
No problem. At least now we know when the host disappears for technical circumstances, the show will go on.
Yes, I noticed that about other panel streams whenever the host pops out, and I actually think that I can, like they can have some other people back there in the, what's the name of that? The back room. What is the name of that? I keep forgetting.
It's backstage. I would love to call it the green room.
Yes, back there in the green room. You can have, I guess, I don't know how many people you can have back there, but like I can take myself off and put myself in the back room, and then I can bring somebody else on, or I could take Bob off and put him back in there in that room, and I can bring someone else off. Or like what happens with me a lot on other people's panels, you can just kick somebody right the hell out and then block them.
And they can never come back.
And then they can't even come back in the back room.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be such a tyrant, Teresa.
I just got to work on my delivery. I'm sorry. I get very frustrated with this, when I've already been over that. I've been through a lot in the last year and a half, and I just don't have any compassion for people that, just ignore the obvious.
Well, the key is really diplomacy in your case, Teresa. As we learned from Lou, diplomacy is everything.
Well, I guess I need to take a few lessons from Lou and his diplomacy.
I don't think that's even up to bargain basement levels.
Lou did actually come into the chat and I put a link up and stuff too. So hopefully he's just like, I don't know, getting ready or had some things to settle down. So he'll be able to come up here on the chat. I don't know how much longer you guys want to be chatting. We've been up here for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think 2 hours is a great amount of time for me. So I will go ahead and bow out. But thank you for having me,
Bob. Thank you so much for coming. I think I'm gonna just kind of carry on for a little bit longer. But I'm so glad you were here. I'm trying to wait out Lou.
Yes, thank you, Bob. We always enjoy your company. Yeah, it was never verified that was Lou.
Bye, Bob.
Miss you, Bob. Get me in Discord, man, so we could hang out.
Did we get him a link in the back? I'll put him a link in the back. There's a thing called private chat. I'll put you a link to what was it, Odin server? I don't know if you put one there. I'll put it there though.
Oh no, Mervs, I can't get into anybody's Discord.
You need an invite.
Yeah, I'll get you an invite to one.
I'm a member of both of them.
Well, Merv reset. Merv reset his security. You have to give a phone number in and get a code text-wise.
Do you have a Boomer server? Are you on Boomer server?
I don't know if I'm on Boomer server.
Let me try to send you an invite to Boomer server if that's okay with Boomer, and we'll get you in there, and then we'll get you into the other servers too.
Okay,
yeah, that's cool.
But I've hollered at Boomer just in YouTube, so she knows who I am.
Yes, I do. At first, I thought you were Popcorn Chronicles, and then I realized that you wasn't.
No, I'm 67.
Yes.
We've hollered for a couple years.
There's one backstage to mine. I put it in your DM too there, Popcorn.
Okay. Thanks.
GD, you lying little shit. I've never banned anybody in my server. Not one person.
Don't lie.
I didn't ban him. I kicked him. There's a big difference.
You banned his ass because you didn't like him, you bully.
No, I didn't.
You did too.
Fuck off.
Hey, Mike, you should hop into the panel. First Amendment, Mike. I could drop backstage.
Yes, Mike, you're welcome on the panel. We still have another spot. I know we're saving one for Lou, but I know someone will give up a spot. I'll give up my spot for Lou.
No, I want to have two Louisiana ladies go off on them.
On
I
who?
can come back. The trash.
Who's the trash? Please explain, because I haven't been around in quite a
We're
while.
not calling him names. That's Lou. We don't have to call him
Oh.
names.
Lou didn't do me nothing.
Yeah. All right, so I'll pop back so Mike can come in.
Nobody's waiting. You can hang out. Peanut butter. We're just hanging out anyway.
There's
Y'all like to
Suey,
pick on my little short ass. That's not fun.
frickin' Hobbit.
Shut up, Odin.
That has got to be one of the most repeated phrases in this Discord.
Shut up, Odin, or eat a bag of dicks. One or the other. Oh, sorry.
It's a close race there between those two. No, but everything Bob was saying is true. You can teach these people everything they need to know to be safe, and their emotions will take over, or their adrenaline will flow a little too much and say the wrong thing, and in they go. And then there are the types that have a grudge against the police from some other source, if you will, and they go right at it from the get-go.
Anybody else want one? Sorry, T. Y'all can sit in a corner for a little while.
You little ass. So tired, I told you.
Well, there are some that come in to agitate, and there are some that come in to educate.
I'm sorry, I was grabbing a picture from Discord.
I timed out GD and Odin in your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I have a few wrenches here and there, but I don't do that.
Oh, I don't do that either. I dropped my phone. It was an accident. So it takes a lot to piss me off. I'm not easily triggered or pissed off, but whenever I do get pissed off, I stay pissed off for a very long time.
You so are too easy to get triggered. Shush.
I want to see if I can show y'all this picture real fast. Hang on. I think I can do it like this, and it will all still be on the screen. Let me see.
Well, you have a background there now.
Yeah, I think I have to open the picture first. Let me try to figure this out. Just go on talking, and I'll just put it up there in the middle.
Like I always say, if it doesn't work, get a bigger hammer.
I think you got to share screen there, Teresa. If it doesn't come through right, it's because Boomer's in here.
Oh my.
Did you do that, Teresa?
I did. I don't think that's photoshopped. It was just posted in Discord. Let me see who it was posted by. Hang on.
Yeah, that one deserves a meme.
It was posted by Patrick.
Please say that I will see that as a meme soon.
I imagine that will make a meme.
Meme of the week.
Maybe a GIF with somebody popping up from the back.
Boomer's going to be popping up from the back with her feet kicking them in the derriere. She's mean like that.
I am not mean.
Well, guys, I guess we have been on for 2 hours and 7 minutes. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. My family's been trying to be real quiet for me and stuff, and I feel like they're walking around on eggshells. I don't guess Lou's going to come. I gave him 2 hours and 7 minutes and named this whole panel after him. I hope, Lou, I hope you're listening to me, Lou. I hope you got all the attention that you wanted tonight.
See y'all in Discord.
I'll see you soon, Boomer. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, Mike and M-Star. And thank you for what you did today, Peachy, if you're still there.
Yes, Peachy, that was great. Awesome, awesome.
You take care, sweetie.
You too, Odin. Thank you for coming in. And you too, GD. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end this. Let me see if I can figure that out now. But I want to thank everybody that's in the comments and everybody that's watching also for coming in. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that I do my best to put the link to the stream in the description. And I'm always up for a good debate. And I don't normally have a problem screaming back and forth, but I do think that once people get all that screaming out, it's a whole lot better to just talk. And I think I got all my screaming out, maybe today, maybe not, who knows. But I just, I don't want anybody to think that they can't come on here or that I would shut them down. I don't think that there was anybody that was, anybody's comments that were deleted here, and I haven't deleted comments off of my YouTube channel because I want, people to be able to speak freely, and I want to hear other people's opinions, even when I don't always like them. I do watch other people's videos out there, people that I don't agree with. I don't watch all of them. I might not be subscribed to their channels, but I see links to their videos in Discord, and like we all do. Discord, that's not such an evil place. That's just a bunch of regular people that hang around that have common interests and are, really good at Google searches and pulling records from, courthouses that keep those records online. And I think there's a lot to be learned. I've learned so much from the people that are there. I am nothing of a public records person compared to some of the people that I, am lucky enough to be a part of their day. And, nothing compared to some of the people that can Google search things out on the internet. And, there's so much to be learned there from so many people. If people can, put their egos aside and, stop thinking that your opinion always has to be the right one. Because I always say this, perception is important. And if sometimes you need to put yourself in the shoes of other people and see the perspective that they have to maybe understand and maybe meet in the middle. Because sometimes that's all you can do is meet in the middle. You can't just go out there demanding it's all or nothing. Sometimes you got to meet in the middle, and there's always a middle. Anyway, I'm going on. I'm rambling, blah, blah, blah. Thanks again, everybody, for coming in, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.